VGK ranks 20th in the NHL in expected goals in their 5-on-5. Are the Golden Knights too reliant on the power play? Something that we could not fathom earlier this season or in the preseason. We'll get to that discussion when we return right here on Lockdown Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. The voice cracked a little there. I don't know what that was. Too much eggnog, bro. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure to subscribe to our Lockdown Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. We hope everyone's enjoying the holiday season, and we are happy to be back after the Christmas holiday. VGK is off until Friday, actually. They'll be back on the ice practicing today, but they will be playing on Friday night as they travel to San Jose. And the Golden Knights, in their return to the ice, Chris, they are ranked in expected goals 20th in 5v5, but are currently ranked 3rd on the power play. The question that we posed today: has VGK become too reliant on the man advantage these days?
Which by itself. What's that?
Is that the correct way to frame it?
That's a good frame. We had yeah. So, I mean, a couple things here. I mentioned, I think, on our last show before our little Christmas break, you can spend 5 minutes on Money Puck and you can find things to talk about and look at some stats and things like that and see what matters and things like that. So, number one, the Golden Knights, their 5-on-5 play and how it correlates to their power play scoring here is something interesting. Like we said, 3rd overall in the power play. The Golden Knights rank number 10 overall in goals scored 5-on-5. But their X goals is, and here's the AI, everything's AI now. Here's the AI definition. X goals on Money Puck refers to expected goals, which is a statistical metric that estimates the likelihood of a shot being scored as a goal based on factors like shot location, angle, other game situations, essentially giving a numerical value on how likely the shot is likely to go in. A higher XG value means a shot that is more likely to be a goal. Okay, it's a lot taken right there. So what Money Puck is claiming based off of that is VGK is getting a little bit lucky on the 5-on-5 right now. They're outperforming their X goals by, I think, about 4%. So again, some numbers here might get a little boring, but me and Tony will explain it a little bit here. So their X goals percentage is 49.12, which ranks 20th overall behind teams like Pittsburgh, Winnipeg, and the New York Islanders. On the other side of that, though, their actual goals scored on the 5-on-5 is 53.85%, which, again, that ranks number 10 overall behind teams like Utah, New Jersey, Dallas, and Toronto. So is this an important thing to talk about? Maybe. I think it's fair to discuss the fact that the Golden Knights are overperforming a little bit on the 5-on-5. And if things do even out, like when the schedule gets tougher, we'll talk about that in the third segment. When the schedule gets a little more difficult at pockets of the season, will that create more struggle?
And will that also be something that correlates with the return of Barbashev and Waugh, which we'll talk about in the second segment?
Sure, of course.
No,
absolutely.
I'm just kidding. I was just
that's fair, though. That's fair.
Because you always frame it up. Which is really good there. And you kind of cross-promote that upcoming segment. But Jack Eichel, currently 13 power play. What's in that cup, bro? Jack Eichel, 13 power play points. Tomas Hertl and Shea Theodore. I'm not going to spit on the mic by saying Tomas or whatever. Shea Theodore, 11 points each. Mark Stone has 10 power play points. So VGK excelling in the power play. Does it really matter where the points are coming from?
I mean, yes and no. The Golden Knights are number 1 overall in the league. That's the part that matters the most here. And
President's Trophy, bro.
What's that? Yeah, President's Trophy. Yeah, no, we were joking about that, I think, a couple days ago as well. Is VGK on their way to the President's Trophy curse? I don't know. I mean, as it stands right now, yes, even though Winnipeg has more points, the Golden Knights' points percentage is higher. If the season were to stop today, December 26th, Golden Knights would be number one overall in the West and the NHL. So your question, do the points really matter? Of course not. Get wins, win games. Doesn't matter if the schedule is soft. Doesn't matter who's on the ice. Get your goals, get your points, get 2 points, and move on. But again, the Golden Knights, we talked about the schedule. We don't got to get too deep into that right now. We'll hit that later. But when the schedule does get a little more difficult, you would think the goals would be a little bit harder to come by. And hopefully, the teams the Golden Knights are playing, they're playing more responsible, maybe taking less penalties, forcing the Golden Knights to make teams pay on the power play or on their penalty kill. And another thing to look at here is playoffs. Usually less penalties called in the playoffs. Not always. It kind of depends on the circumstances, but generally speaking, the amount of penalties per game will go down once the playoffs start, making the 5-on-5 play that much more important, and also increasing the importance of the fewer power plays the team should have. Fewer power plays is going to equal fewer goals. That's just no argument there. Can the Golden Knights step it up on the 5-on-5 side?
Yeah. Oh, Vegas Buren, by the way, took a flopola the other night, which is kind of funny, and drew a penalty.
Was he cross-checked, Tony? Was he cross-checked?
No. He was up against the boards, and he just flopped, and they called a penalty. I wish that we could hear from the assistant coaches, right? So let's talk about the construction of the power play unit. So is it a combination of Dominic Ducharme and John Stevens? Like, who makes the plan for the power play? Stevens, I would have to imagine, is probably number one, although Cassidy never gives those cats any credit, nor do we can't hear from them because they can't talk. They're just mutants or whatever. But is it those two combination? Cassidy's always been good with the power play. I go back to the introduction of Cassidy, and when that GM guy said, yeah, he just kind of glossed over the power play. Yeah, power play would be fixed. It'll be fine. Yeah, okay, whatever. And it was, and it is, which is kind of crazy. But who makes up the plan for the power play? Is it a combination of those three?
I think it's Cassidy and Ducharme more than anybody. I'd have to do a little research on. I haven't thought.
You don't call him Ducharme? Ducharme?
I haven't thought too much about the assistants, obviously, because, well, like you said, we don't ever get to hear from them unless it's the off season or something like that. And that's a decision the Golden Knights made. They prefer the one person, one voice perspective as far as the state of the team and things like that. And I think it would be interesting to hear from the assistant coaches, even on occasion. You don't got to get them out there after each game. I think having 3 different suits out there doing a press conference is a little bit too much. But once a week, having them out there would be kind of cool. Whether it's do it in practice maybe, so that way maybe you take the during the game, obviously that's the spotlight, right? They have a certain amount of time built in for pressers and everything, but maybe do something during the regular season once a week. I don't know. It'd be interesting to hear a little more from the assistant coaches on how they feel things are going. But the way the Golden Knights are constructed, that's never going to happen. You asked a question. I don't know what it was.
I don't know either.
Who? I think it's Cassidy Ducharme. I think that's their world. I could be wrong.
Well, you have 3 former head coaches there, 1 current head coach and 2 other former.
It's working better this year.
Yeah, it sure is. So VGK, number 3, as you mentioned, in the NHL, they had that 1 for 19 stretch that was really bad, and then they just came out of that funk, and they're still among the top 5 in power play. So again, are they reliant too much on the power play? That's our question, Mr. Golick.
I don't think so. I don't think it's too reliant. But I think this is something to watch. And again, the Golden Knights, we're talking about the top team in the West, top team in the NHL right now. We're not saying doom and gloom, nor are we saying troubled waters ahead or anything like that. Because, well, I know the fan base wants me to say troubled waters ahead because the Golden Knights have had like a 900 points percentage since I said that. So
since you said
if we're talking concern, this might be the episode where the Golden Knights that puts them on a Stanley Cup run here. But if things do get a little more difficult somewhere in this middle third of the season, December's been a layup for the Golden Knights. Their points percentage, I think, since inception is over 700. So the Golden Knights are doing in December what they should be, what we would expect them to do. January and February have been rough. So Point being is when the middle third of the season comes, is the power play going to continue to excel, or if they need to get points elsewhere, especially when as players are returning to health, will more points come 5-on-5? And I think so. They should. The Golden Knights are a good team. They'll find ways. But at some point, the season will take a negative turn for whether it's 3 games or 5 games or even a 10-game stretch. It just happens every year. Every team goes through it. That'll be when we get a view of what this team is, I think, really made of right now.
Coming up next, VGK returning to health. What does that mean for the current lineup? We'll get to all that when we return right after this on Locked On Golden Knights. We are brought to you today by Gametime. Gametime has a new feature called Gametime Picks. It makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. It picks out and filters out all of the fluff so that it shows you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste any time searching through thousands of tickets. And we really do enjoy the Gametime app. Myself and Chris have both utilized it, and the experience is really second to none. They've got curated deals. It makes it easier to find the best price on seats. The super deal, seat views before you buy. We like the all-in pricing. And all-in pricing, if you toggle this feature, it shows you the total up front, so there's no surprise fees at checkout. And again, you have to turn on this feature for it to work. And with the seat views, you get the panoramic view from your front seat in the app before you can buy. I just bought tickets for a certain event. I'm not going to mention the venue here in Vegas. It's a non-gaming outlet, and they just gave me the row and not the seat number. So I don't know where I'm going to be sitting, somewhere in the middle of a couple of chooches. I have no idea. But you can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Again, create an account, use that redeem code LOCKEDONNHL, and you'll receive $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it, Golic? Golic?
Gametime. I'm here. Gametime. It's been a while.
Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golic from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. You can find us wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel Friday. WTF, it's already here. That's tomorrow, our year ender. And then on Saturdays, sometimes it's the Chris Jr. show.
It's a lot of pressure.
What was that quote that somebody said there on YouTube about me? They said, if a tree falls in the woods, what was it?
A tree falls in the forest, Tony would say it was rigged.
If a tree falls in the forest. I got to remember that.
We had an Oilers fan on Christmas night. I was just chilling, waiting for the kids to go to bed so I could take all the presents out.
So you could take the presents to them.
Yeah. And this Oilers fan, like on a random pod, not even like when the Golden Knights got crushed by the Oilers, but just recently, hey, where was your pod when the Oilers crushed the VGK? I'm like, yeah, we did a pod when the Oilers crushed the VGK. We also did one when the Golden Knights beat the Oilers in the playoffs a couple of years ago. We also talked about McDavid's failure in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. We're on every day. We're every day.
Oh, jeez. So yeah, that was fire. That was fire, man. Okay, so VGK is getting healthy. We could see Ivan Barbashev. We could see Nick Waugh, and maybe even perhaps Huddy. They call him Huddy, right? Ben Hutton? I don't know. I'm just trying to be cool, be a teammate. We could see them ready for action. Does Bruce Cassidy hold this trio out in San Jose and they play against Gary?
All right, so Ben Hutton, number one. Hutton is probably going to be in a regular contact jersey sooner than later, ready to go.
Trade deadline's over on the 28th, bro.
Yeah, and there's the trade deadline.
The freeze.
Oh, the freeze. Yeah,
the freeze. Yeah,
he's gonna get traded in 2 days. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the March one. No, I mean, Hutton will come in if the Golden Knights need him to, if there's an injury situation. Now, will Hutton come in if someone is maybe experiencing soreness and they want to, give someone a little bit of rest and use Hutton in a spot like that? I don't know, but Hutton is behind Korczak, I think, on the power rankings, I guess, as far as the defensemen go. So it'll take, I don't want to say extreme circumstance because extreme things happen, but it'll take a couple injuries to get Hutton in the lineup. And will he become trade bait as the deadline gets closer? That's to be determined. I don't know what he's going to bring back in a return, but he could be a throw-in as part of a bigger deal for the Golden Knights. What happened? I'm sitting there looking at the lines from the Anaheim game, just trying to see what happens as far as when Waugh and Barbashev come back.
But you cannot mess with the Hurdle, Carlson, and Kolasar line, at least for now.
Which causes problems, though. That's the thing. I mean, Olsen is going to go down, number one, as far as down in the lineup. Barbashev is going to take that spot on the top line. We know that. So I would assume Lazinski and Schwintz are out, but they're both playing center right now.
Did you see my little text to you? I called him Cole, Coal, Schwint, Cole.
That's funny. Are you going to – does that mean Howden and Nick Waugh are going to draw in as centers? Howden's been doing pretty well on the wing, but that Lazinski, Dorofeev, Howden line, I don't love a lot about that line, to be completely honest. I think that's more about necessity right now. So does that third line maybe become Nick Waugh between Dorofeev and Olofsson? That could be an interesting line.
That's an interesting line.
And
not quite the IKEA line, but that's interesting.
Fourth line, all you're doing is dumping Schwint then, and then Brett Howden goes down to the fourth line between Holtz and Pearson. That's one option.
Why is Holtz still in the lineup, for crying out loud?
Holtz as a fourth line energy. Okay, let's pump the brakes here for a second. One of the knocks on Holtz was his situation in New Jersey. He scored a lot of goals and a lot of points as a bottom six player. So I look at Holtz, I feel he's more of a skill type guy. He's down there on the fourth line right now. I don't know if that's the best place for him, but he's succeeded in this role on a not – last year the Devils were not what the Devils are this year. Devils this year, a great team. Last year, not a good team by any means. So can Holtz hold his own as a fourth line right winger on a good hockey team? Probably. Would you rather have Lazinski or Schwintz on that wing there or something? I don't know if that's the right answer. And put Howden on the wing? I don't think that's the answer.
That's it. Okay, so
I'm looking. I want to look up.
Do you think? Yeah, they're garbage. Do you think that? Do you think Cassidy holds them out though?
No,
gives them the extra couple days. Okay.
No, the Golden Knights, the second someone's ready, they go back in the lineup, and the proof is there because
except for Mark Stone, except for Stone.
Fair enough. We've seen there's a long bye coming up, and this happened with Mark Stone actually. Mark Stone played, and then the Golden Knights had their bye week a few weeks back or something like that.
That was smart.
So
that was smart using him.
He got that needed start for the horse players out there, which are diminishing. We saw that with Shea Theodore the Stanley Cup year. I think he played the last game before the All-Star break after missing quite some time. So point being is if they're ready, they're going to get out there. Holtz right now, 9 points, -1, 34 games. I think he's significantly behind last year's pace as well.
Oh, geez. But he had a lot of blame there for that Devils organization when he was just they move him around and all this other crapola.
Well, you're starting to wonder now, is this a Holtz problem or good?
No, he thinks he should be a second line player. He should be in the top six.
I don't know about that. Listen, Holtz last year, why are the Devils trading? So here's that trade. Paul Cotter for Schmid.
How's Cotter doing? He's really cooled off, right?
Cotter, I think he's still having a career season. I'll look it up. I'll look him up in a second here. VH1, where are they now? We were joking about that the other day. But everyone in the National Hockey League thought the Devils got fleeced by McCrimmon, which is usually the case when there's a trade, but not in this case. I mean, Schmid he's a goalie in the AHL.
He's mid.
Official, he's mid right now. That's fine. And Holtz is holding on to his spot for dear life right now, I think, in the lineup.
Yeah, for sure. Coming up next, will VGK's soft schedule come back and eventually hurt the Golden Knights, maybe into the postseason? Who knows? Our thoughts come your way next, right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Get ready to tackle the NFL action all season long with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. How could a team just score 2 points in an NFL game? Perplexing, right? Right now, new
When I
customers
have the
can,
over is the answer.
when you have the over, there we go. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and receive $150 in bonus bets if you win. There's a lot of action coming up in the NFL, and we still don't know if that final home game for the Raiders is going to be flexed. It's really screwing up all my plans for that weekend. In any event, we've got the Seahawks, a 4-point favorite at the Bears, and the total is 42.5 in Thursday night football. That's right, there's more NFL garbage football coming your way tonight. And then on Friday night, we've got the Las Vegas Bowl coming in college football, and the Aggies of Texas A&M are 3.5-point favorites over USC, and the total on that game is 52 at FanDuel. If you have a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats. You can view the live play-by-play and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com and join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. Back on this Thursday edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick reporting from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen, folks, every day. We definitely appreciate everyone, our everydayers, those tuning in around the globe. And, you just said something about horse racing. There was no horse racing to be had. It was dark on Christmas Day. And what? There was a little bit of college basketball. Remember the NBA used to own this day? No, not
LeBron's
anymore.
pissed right now. LeBron's pissed.
Well, the NFL is owning the day. The NFL now on Christmas Day, that is it. Game, set, match. No one beats the NFL. And no, it's pretty crazy because, I went a couple of times in LA to Christmas Day basketball games back in LA. And no, it was great. And remember, it was like the thing to do, the place to be seen. And the TV rating.
You lost me in NBA.
They lost it, man. How do they regain it?
But yeah.
How do they regain it, man? They probably don't.
I mean, they used to run like 5 games on Christmas, which made
no, there's a bunch yesterday.
All that.
Oh no, it was wall to wall. Start like my Knicks played yesterday, all the way up until the Laker game against Golden State late at night, and that's the only time I watched the hoops. There was nothing else on.
So, cut 2 things real fast. Paul Cotter, 13 points, 7 goals, 6 assists. He is slow. I think he scored all 13 of those points in the first 10 games.
The first weekend of the season.
It felt like it, yeah. So Cotter slowed down.
Where were they? In the Prague? Where were they? Somewhere overseas.
I don't know. And you mentioned Bears Seahawks tonight. Seahawks minus 2.5, minus 2.5, and minus 2.5 for the first half. Make a bet. Call me in the morning.
All right.
Fade the Bears in the first half.
Get this, Mr. Golick. If a tree falls in the forest, VGK has the second softest remaining schedule. The second softest remaining schedule behind the Tampa Bay Lightning. Okay? I'm just telling you straight up. So opponents have a .528 combined winning percentage. That is the opponent's winning percentage. So they're number 2 in softest schedule remaining. Look at this right here, bro. Rigged. They rigged this schedule. I told you. I've been telling you this.
I guess Santa didn't bring you a real camera for Christmas because no one can read your hat. Oh, there it is. Okay.
So VGK has just 1 game remaining against the Oilers, the Panthers, Carolina, and Winnipeg. 2 against New Jersey, Minnesota. They play the softer schedule, but this will come back to bite VGK eventually. They could win the Prez Cup. They could win that right now. You know what? You might as well just hand it over to them, and then they can jump around and do everything, fall down steps, and do everything there.
I'm going to disagree that the schedule matters here for the Golden Knights. And I'll do that because this is a vet team. This is a veteran team with championship pedigree behind the bench, with championship pedigree on the bench. They know what's at stake every time they take the ice. They know who their opponents are. They do the research. They know what it takes to win these games. They know what it takes to win when the games matter more once March and April and of course the playoffs get going here. So this, you would like to see a little more of a challenge. Sure, I think you'd rather be a little more battle tested as the season progresses and things like that. But I mean, two things. Number one, Golden Knights struggle in the middle third of the season. A tough schedule, part of that reason, I'm sure. Well, a soft schedule, maybe they'll cruise right through the middle third of the season, even when the injuries pile up, because they do every year. And again, number two, with the experience the Golden Knights have, the schedule is not going to matter. This team knows. I mean, look at how bad, Tony. Here's an example. All right, the Golden Knights limped in, insert whatever horse joke you want here, but they limped in worse to the finish line than they ever have, basically since season 5 when they missed the playoffs. Right, they were absolutely terrible in the final, call it 10 games going to the playoffs, which led to the Golden Knights getting the Dallas Stars in the first round. Dallas Stars went on to the conference championship and gave Edmonton all they can handle. The Golden Knights gave the Stars all they can handle. They should have won that series. I still maintain that Cassidy gets the blame for the Golden Knights not advancing out of the first round last year. But where I'm ultimately going with this is the second it went from game number 82 against Anaheim, where the Golden Knights looked like a terrible team, for a couple games in that first round, it looked like business as usual for the Vegas Golden Knights, and this was going to be a team that was going to make another deep playoff run and possibly win a Stanley Cup. So that's why I think the soft schedule will be more of a benefit than a hindrance for the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah, maybe the softer schedule keeps them healthy. Who knows? I don't know.
It could. No, that's fair. That is fair.
And 2 more games against the Sharks, including the Friday night encounter, 2 against the Red Wings and Buffalo, and 3 versus Chicago, your team, and 3 against Nashville. Now that could be interesting. Spoilers. Is Nashville going to play the spoiler role at some point?
We'll see. I mean, I said a bad word, put $1 in the Marchessault jar, but Marchessault's starting to get some points lately. That was a light topic we had on the napkin about VGK's slot goals scored, and Marchessault quietly is in the top 10 overall in slot goals scored. So.
Yes, that was going to be. Thanks for taking away some of my thunder there for tomorrow.
I saved us, Tony. I saved. Okay, fine. I took your what the Friday. No one's listening anyway.
No, it's okay. No one's listening today. They'll listen on Friday.
I mean, listen. Looking at the schedule here, I'm looking for difficult pockets, and the Rangers, Islanders, Devils, Bruins pocket before the Four Nations break looked incredibly difficult. Not as much anymore.
No.
You got Florida, Dallas, Columbus, the games ahead of that, but that's a homestand. They'll be fine in that one. Nashville road trip, Nashville, Carolina, Chicago, they're fine there. Road trip, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Buffalo, Detroit, they're fine there. Road trip, Minnesota, Chicago, Nashville, they're fine there. They got 2 tough home games in a row, Edmonton and Winnipeg. That's going to be April 1st and April 3rd.
But those teams will be coming in on the tail end of back-to-backs, okay?
Probably. And Chris has Tuesday, April 1st scheduled the Edmonton game because Santa brought him a McDavid jersey for Christmas. So he's
no way.
To rock that. Oh, yeah. Oh, he was playing hockey all day with is your me, him, and Allie, or me, him, Allie, and our neighbor across the street, his kid. We were all playing hockey all day after. He's out there in his McDavid jersey, loving life.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's super. Too bad it wasn't real chilly here to give him the real feel, but that's okay.
No. They were outside after the sun was down. They got these weird drone type things. But you throw them in the air. You're supposed to use your hands to control them. They have sensors, but the kids just throw them and let them go wherever the heck they want.
Wait. What is that? What is this? Hang on. Drone type things. What are they?
Guys, what are those drone things called? Chris, Allie, quick, bring one in here.
Is it coming? I'm curious to see. I don't even know what this is. How much things have changed? What is it supposed to do? What is it do?
Bio thing. I don't know. They're going to bring it in here, and we're going to launch one in the office. And I need a sphere.
Okay, a sphere. They're calling it a sphere. I'm sorry, man. I'm a little bit behind on this
We're
one.
going to get crazy here. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, one quick.
Oh, while we have a moment.
They're coming.
Was that you against Eichel in that beer league one-on-one encounter? Was that you?
I couldn't get a look at who that was. I was trying to see who the beer leaguer was if I knew who that was.
It was so bad. It just, come on, man. I would have tackled him. I would have tackled Eichel. There's no way they would let me on the ice.
Come on, guys.
I would have gotten the red card. I would have been done. I would have been done, bro.
Like, yeah, I mean, it was.
What was that? Why would they post?
It was weird content. Like, I wasn't sure if it was part of a bigger.
Was that the town crier? Was that the town crier he was playing against? That was pretty weird. Okay, do you want to save it for WTF?
Okay, they're not bringing it in. I guess they're not listening to this morning.
Whatever. WTF. Okay. Bring it in. Show and tell day on WTF tomorrow.
Yeah.
Show and tell day.
Right.
We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. Thank you so much. I need to do some research and find out what this drone sphere thing is. Thank you so much again for tuning in. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Don't forget tomorrow, get those comments fired up there. Get ready for a new year, Auld Lang Syne and all that baloney and what have you. And we'll make sure to read all the comments tomorrow. Saturdays, sometimes it's the Chris Jr. Show. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. For Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. And please take care.